let's transition. Let's transition over to WWE real quick. I'll give a brief update on SmackDown. The only thing you really need to know about SmackDown before King or Queen of the Ring is Nia Jax, Randy Orton advance. Everything else, check it out. It was an okay, but that's
pretty much it. The one thing that I want to bring up is someone brought this up. This is the first show that WWE, the first televised show WWE hasn't sold out. Was this SmackDown in
I didn't realize that.
Weeks or months or whatever it is, basically since the start of the year. I'm going to bring something up though. They shouldn't have sold out this show. The reason being is because SmackDown was from the same building that King and Queen of the Ring were being shown. It's without counting the floor, it's a 40,000 seat arena or stadium. That's like saying, okay, well, we did the Royal Rumble at Tropicana Field where the Rays play in St. Pete. And if we did SmackDown the night before, we should also sell out for SmackDown. No, there's a huge difference between selling out for a pay-per-view for 40 or 50,000 people and selling out 50,000 people for SmackDown, where the only good things that happened were Nia Jax and Randy Orton. Moving on.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't it in Saudi Arabia?
It was in Saudi, yeah. It was in Jeddah.
So I would have assumed that it not being there all that often would drive attendance higher. And I'm sure that they had some of the highest attendance.
I'm sure it was still probably like a 20,000 seat buy. But like 20,000 seats is bigger than most Raws and SmackDowns do. And again, I don't know the exact number. I just know someone posted a picture that, they couldn't even half fill it. Well, it was in the Superdome. They still sold more tickets to it than probably most of the Raws and SmackDown for the year. And they sold more tickets for the SmackDown the day before, not to knock the other company, but than AEW does for most of their pay-per-views.
You're such a WWE homer, Steven. Like, man, if you would just open your eyes. I don't particularly throw shade. Like, I think I throw equal shade at two of them, and I'm going to do it on King and the Queen of the Ring as well.
Yep.
But that's just, I think that's funny. Before we get into King and Queen of the Ring, I do want to say, so for AEW Double or Nothing for our predictions, Steven and I tied. We honestly only got one pick, both wrong. Everything else, one of us got it right. But out of all 10 matches, we each went 7 in 3 or 7 to 10. What do you want to call it? So overall for King and Queen of the Ring, I thought this was a little uninspired. It was a good show. Let me put it that way. Like, it was good. None of these matches was I jumping out of my seat. Nothing really shocked me in this. There was quality wrestling matches from start to finish, but just nothing spectacular. And I would have liked to see a little bit more of something.
So I will say this. I'm going to try to be a little bit of the positive side for King and Queen of the Ring. This at least is one of the first shows that they've done for the Middle Eastern shows that they didn't pull in just anybody that they could just because they were getting paid for it type of situation. They at least ran their course with shows. They didn't pull Roman Reigns off of the movie set just so that they had Roman Reigns on the show. They didn't pull The Rock in on this just to say The Rock was there. I felt like a lot of the shows for the last couple of years that they did for Jeddah and for the varying different areas of the Middle East that they've been going to lately, that was, Undertaker technically retired. Let's bring Undertaker back and pull Shawn Michaels out of retirement. Why? Well, because the Emirates are giving us millions and millions of dollars to do it. They were doing a lot of that before with Vince and the shows before this. This at least was a show that went along with the storylines they were building, and they didn't just pull a storyline out of nowhere. With that said, I do completely agree with you. Most of these shows, most of these Saudi shows are altogether have been a little uninspired. And I think this one, the Jeddah shows, because they're constantly in the Superdome there and they're inside, it even their production of it is a little lessened because of it. Because at least with Crown Jewel, which is in Riyadh, that's it. They're in Riyadh. I was trying to think of the name of the other city that they constantly go to. It's an outdoor stadium. It's an open air stadium. So they do a lot of really cool stuff. Again, like I said, the one time they did a lot of stuff with drones and stuff for the entrances. And that's really cool to me. And I get into some of that aspect for the production stuff. And I hate to say it, but it covers up sometimes the fact that the show itself is, as you put it, a little uninspired, a little...
It's uninspired. Like,
I don't want to say flat necessarily, but it felt a little... It wasn't round, let's put it that way.
I think we don't usually cover the pre-show stuff all that much, but I think that we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about the finish of the tag team match between Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair, and I'm sorry, I'm blanking on their names, Larry and Hartwell. But the finisher that they had of the DDT into a double kick German was dope. I absolutely love that move. I thought that was so cool.
I did like that.
And that's all I want to talk about that match.
That's right. I mean, it ended exactly how we said it was probably going to end.
Yep. I mean, they're not even the number one contenders. It was like there was no way that they were dropping the belts there. Just like we picked it, and then I didn't realize it was the pre-show match, so it's not in our things. But we did technically both get that right.
So opening match: Becky Lynch versus Liv Morgan for the Women's World Title. That's the Raw title, just so everyone is aware. And Mr. Showtime Michael Wright was correct on this one. Liv took it.
Of course.
A little bit of shenanigans. Seems to be the storyline they're telling. Showtime, I know before the show I'm going to give you your chance to voice this one. You were saying a little bit about Liv before this. I'm going to let you.
Yeah, I'm going to start somewhere else real quick, and then I'll get to that. So when I say that this felt a little uninspired, I think it kind of started with Becky in this match, because I don't know if you got this sense, but I felt like she wished she was anywhere else than in this match at this moment in time, where she typically has a ton of energy, and I don't know if it's where it was at, how, like, any kind of restrictions that she had to have on her or whatever else, because, such a progressive country that they were in. But I dug her gear for this, like the full on tuxedo. Like, it felt like the man.
Well, they both did. Both of them were the Britney Spears inspired.
Britney Spears, yeah. So I get that, but it really felt like Liv was like, I really don't want to be here, and so I don't know if that was it. Yes, that's what I meant. Your point when I said earlier, I don't know what it is about Liv, but I can't get behind her. And like, me, I'll root for heels. I understand the craft enough to like kind of get behind people. And I don't know what, like, Liv is clearly talented. She's okay on the mic. She's good in the ring. I don't know what it is that I just can't get behind her whatsoever.
So I talked a little bit about this with you beforehand, and I think this is actually where it comes in. I don't buy Liv as a main eventer. I think that's part of it. I think it's very hard for me to believe she's the main eventer. I think it's very hard for me to believe that she is a leader of a stable. I don't want to say the sidekick, but she's kind of the sidekick chick. She's the best friend. She's not Denzel. She's Denzel's best friend. I don't buy her being the main event. And for the things that she does do good, she's very athletic. She's a very pretty girl. I don't think she cuts necessarily a bad promo, but I don't think she cuts a great promo. And I think the reason why I say she doesn't cut a great promo is for the same reason why I say she doesn't necessarily put on a 5-star match, a 4-star match, whatever you want to call it, an amazing match. Is for all of her athleticism and her ability to do moves, I don't think she flows a match together very well. And this is kind of a prime example. She was in there with Becky, who we've said Becky is probably the best in-ring worker outside of Rhea.
Top 2. And
Top 2.
As much
and
as
really,
much
it's like
over
1A,
on
1B.
Rhea, I think the two of them working together is the perfect women's match.
Well,
I don't
and
want
that's
to take
the thing
anything away
is,
from Becky because I think she's great.
I think that's the thing is with Rhea and Becky, you get what you personally, Mr. Showtime Michael Wright has been asking for. When you get Rhea and Becky together, you get two people who can work that same pace together.
Uh-huh.
Where you constantly say like, hey, these other girls can't seem to keep up with Becky's match pacing, and I think a lot of them can't keep up with Rhea's match pacing. And Liv is a prime situation of, not for, I hate to say it like this, but she'd be great in the Divas era of wrestling because she does do cool moves and she does stuff. But unfortunately, she's like that little bit of that area, that gray area where she works in this area, in this era, but she probably would have been awesome in that era. Like she would have had great matches with Trish and she would have had great matches with Lita, but they were still just breaking the ground then. Unfortunately, we've seen the Charlottes and the Beckys and the Mercedes now, Sasha, whatever you want to call her, the Baileys. We've seen a lot of these matches, and even Io and all of them, they string together matches so well that when the match doesn't flow right, it stands out. And I think that, and to the same point, because her match doesn't flow the right way, I kind of feel like sometimes her promos don't flow the right way. And it just is the constant area there where I think Liv is great. I think she's beautiful. I think she can work very well. I just don't buy her as a main eventer, and I think that's the main issue here. And I think the reason why I don't buy her as a main eventer is because of that.
I want to see what the title does for her. We have that saying of you doing more for the title than the title doing for you, whatever. I would like to see what the title does for her because I think she could use it, and maybe this is like what she's about to do is going to make us eat crow later. And I'm really not trying to bury her or bash her at all. Like, but every time she says "watch me," I'm like, yeah, I have been, and I just like I'm not sure what I'm looking for because like I'm thinking about like, so what's next, right? So if we're talking about what's next, she's definitely going to have something with Valkyrie, right? Like that's got to be her next kind of clinic, is because Valkyrie went to the finals, and not to spoil this, but that's kind of like they're both on Raw. Valkyrie's the Raw champion, depending on whatever happens next. If you haven't actually seen the Queen finals, you have Io in line to come at them because Becky was already kind of starting to feud with Damage Control. Damage Control only cares about the title. So I guess Io is going to probably be in this mix. I could see them putting on decent matches of it. I'm actually really nervous about Valkyrie versus Liv because we talked about this and I challenge everybody. I really don't like choreographed matches. And I'm starting to notice it an awful lot in WWE, not in any one person, but the one person that comes out almost on top of all of them is Valkyrie. Because I think the beginning of her matches have been very choreographed. She kind of sits into a pace, and I know she just got pulled up to the main roster, so I'm willing to give her time to level out the same cadence that we want to give Jade on her coming in and kind of working through some stuff. But I'm just curious on if her Liv and Valkyrie are the next clinic. I could see that being very choreographed and very uninspiring. And then I could see Liv putting on some really good matches with Io. I think their styles together. I think that could be, but that's going to be more in my mind as of right now. Io carrying Liv, and not the other way around until keeping the seat warm until Rhea comes back. And I'm just assuming.
So, I mean, realistically, though, how much more time do we have for Rhea? If they're saying 3 months, if they said 3 months originally, right? I don't know if that's still the timetable that we were looking at. Mania was in April. It was literally like the next week or the week after that she. If we're going 3 months, we're getting to that 3 month part mark. Are we just going to have her come right back and go after Liv and be mad that she made out with Dom? And like, I'm not seeing anything different right now. And again, they're still not giving any real time table for everything.
They've given zero news on Rhea. I don't know why she's out. They said 3 months. We've gotten zero updates. She hasn't been on TV once. And it's infuriating. And again, you want to trigger me because I think that they handled this completely wrong.
I do love triggering you.
It doesn't make sense. Like, everyone else gets different treatment than she got here. And I don't know if she did something wrong and needed a punishment, which is fine. If you need to lay down the law because one of your wrestlers stepped out of line, I don't care who you are. You deserve the punishment you get. But I haven't heard that she did anything wrong. I don't understand why only being out for 3 months makes her relinquish the title. Why you could have the match with the King, Queen, the ring, a nice mad scramble to figure out who the next number one contender was going to be. It would have been way cooler than kind of what I think they did here. Like, at least bring her on. The most you get is Dom saying that he talked to her. Like, where the hell is she? Like, I don't know. Drives me nuts. But like, with you asking that question, I think she's at least a month away. Which I think that allows you to fit in those two people, particularly based on what we said earlier in the show, where Becky might not be around. So those two next opponents could be the two, and then maybe you have Rhea return at SummerSlam, or like that's her first.
Or return for SummerSlam.
Yeah, exactly. And like the build up to SummerSlam.
Now here's the question: is if that is when Rhea comes back, do we get it where Dom turns on Rhea? Because let's face it, Rhea's coming back as a babyface.
I think the Judgment Day may. I'm not buying that he's in cahoots with Liv.
I don't think he's in cahoots with Liv, but also again, long-term storytelling, right? He's obviously not the strongest minded individual. That was how this whole thing started with him and Rhea was. She tempted him when he was still with his father. So if a different girl who is, the little petite blonde thing is tempting him, does that maybe, again, him doing this, okay, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm here for mommy. And then he turns full circle. This is a situation, like we said, it's not out of character for him.
It's not. The one that I think is going to end up being in her corner is JD McDonough. And they left you a little Easter egg. And maybe I just didn't notice this before, but in Raw this week, when he's fighting Braun Strowman, he has that purple bandana on his arm. The same one people said that she had in her pocket that they thought she got from Dom. And I do think that she is talking to the Judgment Day. And she might be the catalyst that breaks up Judgment Day. But I don't think that Dom, as of what I'm seeing right now, is going to be like, I'm choosing Liv over Rhea. So that's just the story that I'm seeing right now. And I could be wrong. Of course, it could be. I don't think that Dom's that big of an actor. And for some things that happened, I would like him to stop being a doofus and getting everything wrong every time he does something. Though I actually don't hate the way they handled the chair in the in the ring.
I don't hate that, and I actually don't. I also didn't completely hate how they did it on Raw either. It was
save that for the Raw. We'll talk about Raw after this.
All right. So moving on from that, Liv wins the match. It was
an okay match.
It was an okay match. I like the finish. You know what? Like we just said, the way they did the finish was good. I like the confusion about it. I like Becky's confusion afterwards. I kind of liked all of that.
I would like to see Becky punch Dom in the face again. That'd be cool. He deserves that. He's got a very punchable face.
He does have a punchable face, especially with the mustache now.
Yeah.
Moving on, we have the Intercontinental title match. We both got this one right. This was Sami Zayn versus Chad Gable versus Bronson Reed. I thought this was a really good match. They did, as far as three-ways go, they did do the one thing that you are happy about, which is they were all involved in everything. Or if they weren't involved in everything, there was a reason why they weren't involved in everything. Like, oh, so-and-so got hit with a huge move. That's why he's laying in the corner. Not he got hit with a forearm. And
then Powder's out.
Yeah,
we'll see you in 10 minutes.
And he's gone for 3 minutes for no reason.
I love the triple German, like showing how strong Gable really is. I like the double stacked up Samoan drop. That was cool.
I like the build to the Blue Mountain.
Yep.
I really like that. I always am a fan of that. I can't do it. And then when you show it 3 or 4 times that you're going to keep going for it, and then when you finally hit it, it gets a big pop, and it got a big pop.
You worked that move, and I liked Otis's involvement. Though I don't. The one thing I'll critique with Otis is he had no problem leveling Bronson Reed, but then he was upset about Sami. That means that Otis isn't quite as pure as they want to portray him as. If he's willing to cheat on Reed, but not on Sami. I get to a certain degree, but he ends up obviously costing Chad the match. Sami goes over. There was no way Sami, the king of Saudi Arabia, is going to lose this match. You see it is the welcome he got here. This was Sami's night.
And huge pop for Sami. And this was a good match. I don't want to say it's definitely my favorite match of the show, but it's probably up there. I mean, I thought the main event was very good as well. All around, again, this wasn't a bad show. It's just
it was all above average.
It was a very, very WWE show.
It was all right. It was good. I enjoyed myself. Short enough for me not to get annoyed with it.
The third match is the Raw winner, or the Raw bracket winner, Lariat Valkyria, versus the SmackDown bracket winner, Nia Jax. We both picked whoever came out of SmackDown on this one.
And I think we both specifically said we thought it was going to be Nia.
We both said it was probably going to be Nia. Nia wins this. We are correct. I thought this match had the coolest ending I've seen in a while.
It was great. First of all, before we get to the ending, I was dying for Nia to scream out my hole. Like again? She likes to do it. Yeah. Well, she does that often. Like, I know that's just something she used to do a lot. And they hit that spot. And I'm like, oh, are you going to do this in Saudi Arabia? Like, acknowledging your hole here? I feel like you go to jail for that here.
She might go to jail.
Yeah. So, like,
or at least be beaten.
Stoned? Is that the proper? Sorry, I don't want to throw too much shade on a place that I don't fully understand. But I don't know. I'm just trying to be real. I don't want to make up stuff because I think it's that, but I don't know. Whatever.
It could be that.
It could be that. But so I held my breath a little bit when she did that. I was like, oh no. But I thought this was great. I thought that, except for the beginning of it feeling kind of choreographed, like I said, because that was very apparent. I think it was the most I saw in the show in general. I liked it. I thought that Lyra came off great. I like that she made it to the finals because now you have a rookie that comes in the finals. Now she's already legitimized where she can go out there and beat some people. I actually hope that this Becky contract dispute kind of gets settled because I would love to see her and Becky tag team because I think that would be a cool tag team to go against Jade and Bianca because they switch brands for whoever is the number one contender. So that would be a fun little run because they both have that mentor-mentee kind of dynamic going. But the right person won this, in my opinion, from the beginning. I think I called Tiffany from the beginning. I think Tiffany was the right one from the beginning. But if it's not Tiffany,
It should be
Nia. Nia, like she's going to be the one that really takes this Queen of the Ring thing to the next level. She feels like the right person for it. And so I was happy with that. The ending was great. I did not see that being the end of the match, even though Nia did. She sat there, arms crossed, smiling, like being like, "There's no way this bitch."
You're not taking it.
No, you're not getting out of this.
I know you talked about that the beginning of this match seems a little bit too choreographed, and I don't disagree with you. I will say this though, I liked what they were trying to do with it.
100%.
I like the idea, like, hey, Lyra's the technician. She's going to try to out technique this, and Nia is so big that it doesn't work. And I like that. I love what they tried to do. It did seem a little bit too staged.
Hit your mark, and I'm gonna go because I know you're there. And that's the thing you can't do. You need a turn. You need some less of a. And we're at spot 32. Here you are.
But what they were trying to do was great. Again, I really liked this match. Yeah. I loved the ending of this match, hitting what essentially was, I forget what she calls it. I'm sorry, but the super bonsai drop, basically.
Yeah.
Like dead.
I can't believe that she wrestled at Raw. Because I thought she was going to stand up and look like Judge Doom from Who Framed Roger Rabbit after he gets hit by the steamroller. And he's flat, but he's like curling. I thought that's how she was going to stand up. The oxygen, the helium tank, to blow herself back up. That's what my assumption was at the end there.
But overall, I thought this was a good match. This was a fun match.
Good match. It was good.
We're kind of saying the same thing about all this. They're good matches. It's not bad.
Like I said, I felt this was a little uninspired because I wanted just a little bit more. And not all of them needs to give me everything, but these all felt not filler matches, but they all felt like they were the in-between. Like if there was one or two big moments of this pay-per-view, we would be having a whole different tone to this conversation.
Exactly. Moving on from the Queen of the Ring, we move on to the King of the Ring. We had the Raw winner, Gunther, versus the SmackDown winner, Randy Orton. We kind of called Randy, too, on this one. We said it was probably going to be Randy.
This one was easy to pick once we knew who won SmackDown. Or once we knew who won Raw, sorry.
Exactly. And we were both right. It was Gunther. Well, technically, as of right now, they're still playing that off a little bit.
Referee decision is final, Triple H said. So no matter what happens next, Gunther is
your King of the Ring.
King of the Ring.
The King General.
And he was very specific on that point. There's probably going to be a rematch. There's going to be more to go about this. Randy will get some sort of consolation prize. Cody at SummerSlam. But at the end of the day, that's kind of what I think is going to happen.
We keep saying this. This match was exactly what I thought it was going to be. It was good. I didn't expect this match to be bad. Like, I didn't think there was any way that Gunther and Randy Orton were going to give us a bad match on a pay-per-view. I like a lot of how they kind of built up for certain moves. I like the idea that Randy missed that first power slam and then hit it afterwards because Gunther he's such a technician that he knows what is going on. I like this match. I think I probably would have liked it a little bit more if his shoulder was supposed to be up, even more power to him. But yeah. I like this.
I like the fact that Gunther, that he was in the ring with someone around his size. I feel like it's been a long time since you've seen him up against someone who's relatively similar in size to him, because it just made him feel like a giant all the time, and he wasn't that big of a giant. But I like this match. It was great. I don't care about the false finish. I think that they can use this as a storyline. I think it's going to end up benefiting them at the end of the day.
Yeah, that sounds good. I think, like I said, I think this will be the similar situation where, like you said, this will lead to Randy Cody. This will lead to this will lead to Gunther versus Priest. I think that's where this is going. I think we get Gunther Priest at SummerSlam,
because you can get McIntyre getting screwed again by CM Punk, and then they'll fight at SummerSlam.
So that was Gunther versus Randy. Again, I think it sets up a couple of interesting things. That leads us directly into Cody Rhodes versus Logan Paul for the WWE Undisputed title, which is obviously disputed if you have another world title. But either way, ish. I mean, everywhere has lots and lots of titles now.
We all know who the real world champion is.
This match went exactly how we thought it would. Cody Rhodes won. It was a good match. It was very athletic. It was very entertaining. At no point did I think that Cody's title was in jeopardy. And I don't think it did anything to hurt or diminish Logan Paul. It was just, this was another contender for Cody at this point, which is kind of what we said. That's what we're getting right now.
I disagree a little bit about the Logan Paul thing. And not disagree. I don't think you went hard enough on it. I think that this elevated Logan Paul. He said that he was going to go in there, go toe to toe with Cody, and he did. He put in a really good showing. I know he breaks out the brass knucks, even though he wasn't supposed to, but at the end of the day, I don't think he needed them. I think he could have still had quite the same match there. And I want to just go to my favorite part, that crazy camera shot that they had of him for the frog splash off the top. Right, was it a moonsault? Frog splash?
Frog splash.
I don't know. Him just standing there, getting ready to jump on that big table. I was like, oh yeah, this is the camera shot. And I feel bad for both of them having to go through that table, because that was quite the fall. I thought this was great. This match was exactly, again, what I thought it was going to be. That's the problem with all of these matches. Excuse me. Because as you can tell, I got 100% of these matches right, because every single match of this was exactly what I expected it to be. There was zero swerves, no pun intended. There was zero surprises, really.
Zero bumps in the roads, if you will.
Yeah, this is just everything went
that time.
Everything went down exactly the way I thought it was going to go down. I could have wrote all these matches myself. Essentially, in my head, I did. So, and I think that's kind of why I keep saying this was a little uninspiring, was because this Cody match was great. I think that we should stop suggesting that Cody Rhodes' finisher move is the crossroads. It's 3 crossroads, because 1 crossroads does nothing. I guess it's just a reverse swinging neckbreaker, where a swinging neckbreaker is never expected to end a match. Doing it 3 times consecutively can end the match, because
unless you're AJ Styles, and then 1 finishes the match.
I guess, which he never actually hits. I don't think Cody hits Logan with 1. He only does the 3 at the end. And that, again, that's similar to the Tony Storm match that we were saying before. He could have done 1, but he wanted to do 3. And it doesn't take anything away from the move there. What takes away from the move is that now everybody's hitting the crossroads on Cody, and he never puts him down. Which, sucks. Again, yeah, I still love that. This move sucks. So this, I don't know what else to say about this match. They hit all their spots. Logan Paul looked awesome. I absolutely love. I feel like I'm talking a lot about gear today. I absolutely love Logan Paul's gear.
I like Logan Paul's gear.
I could have seen me wearing that gear. Exactly.
I actually always kind of like Logan Paul's gear. He comes out with some pretty snazzy stuff, as you could say.
I thought Cody did great. He went over like he expected. I'm not complaining about his matchups. I think this is the perfect person to put him up against. I think you're probably going to get the Wyatt 6 next. coming in against him. So that's my assumption, because I don't know who they're going to build after this, except for potentially Orton for SummerSlam. But they're going to continue to give him people who will put on really good matches, because there's no way they're taking the title off of him. They built him for 2 years to be world champion, to be the one that's believable to take down Reigns. They can't undo all that work by having him lose
the title in 2 months,
or even think he's going to lose the title the month after that. And even still, do you believe it? Let's say it's booked: Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes at SummerSlam. Do you think Cody's losing that match?
No, but I think I don't.
Is there any doubt in your mind that he retains it?
No, none.
So there's
and really the only difference is at least you'd probably get more a better build up, a better storyline, but at the same time, at least not this Randy Orton. I think the only way you can get a true, the true thought process of that there is going to be Cody not winning that match is maybe if we get full on kick in the head Randy Orton. Then maybe, hey, we haven't seen this Randy in a while. He's been kind of happy and cheery and riding on the golf cart with Kevin Owens type situation.
Which I do like that stuff.
I like that stuff, but if we get the version of Randy that just goes out there and beats up John Cena's dad and kicks Vince and Shane in the head, and maybe then.
Sure, maybe, but I still don't buy it. Not today.
I think I just agree with you that there's not too many people that I could see beating Cody right now.
No one's meant to look that way. I'll give you CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, Damian Priest, Gunther, all of them. I don't think any of them has a shot at beating Cody today.
I can see that. Yeah, I don't disagree. I think
this will change in 6 months.
Well, things will get built up.
Yeah,
you'll have to start building some. I think they'll have to start building someone up now to win the Rumble, right? It's not unbelievable for Cody to hold it until at least Mania.
Who do you think's going to win the Rumble?
Yeah,
it's going to be The Rock.
Yeah.
The Rock's going to come back and win the Rumble. He's going to come in last because he's on the board. And he's going to win the Rumble. He's going to fight Cody.
It's so annoying that you're right on this one.
Just saying. That, as of today, that's my pick. We should do an early pick for the Rumble or whatever, or do something.
Yeah, let's look at it in December. We'll make a pick for the Rumble.
But let's be real. It's gonna be The Rock.
Do The Rock. Oh, I hate the fact that I agree with you. Well, that was King and Queen of the Ring.
Wait, there's one more notable thing from King of the Ring that I wanted to bring up, and I don't know if you noticed this. Did you watch the after show?
I did not watch the after show.
So not the after show, but there's always that little vignette at the end, and it had Drew McIntyre about him coming back, being cleared, and kind of a little build up to McIntyre. And they say that Vince McMahon anointed me the next big thing, or whatever they said, and showed Vince McMahon on TV. And I just think that's a notable thing to call out, because that's the first time in any way, shape, or form his name has been mentioned, and he's been seen since all the allegations. And I think that was, and I don't want to say, we don't talk too much about all the stuff that happens outside of the ring, but it's almost WWE throwing their support behind him, I think, by acknowledging him for the first time.
I think this is, I believe I was reading, and again, I don't want to get too into it because we can't add anything to it. But I believe I was reading somewhere that kind of the case is taking a little bit more of a turn towards McMahon's favor. So that could almost be, it's not so much that they're throwing support to him as much as, well, it looks like he's going to be acquitted of some of these charges. It is what it is. He might have to pay some money, but the overall thought process of it is going to be that he's going to be okay at the end of this. So we can at least start acknowledging the fact that he is the guy.
That he exists.
That for 50 years before this, he was still running this company.
Like, regardless of whatever else, WWE looks better if he gets off pretty unscathed, no matter which way you shake it. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying facts. Like, they look better.
Yeah, whether he did what is being accused of him, didn't do what is being accused of him, if he comes off where this is a situation of him just, hey, you're in trouble because you didn't pay this this NDA, and because you didn't pay this $3 million, we're going to make you pay $20 million. He still looks better at the end of the day because
100%.
That's all he's in trouble for is not paying this NDA. And whatever else is said to either not have happened. And that'll probably be a situation where by paying 10 times the amount that he was supposed to pay originally, the NDA is put back into place. Yep, I could see that happening.
I bring it up not to get deep into anything. I don't mean this to go into a tangent or anything, but I bring it up because it's the first time we saw him. And I think that's kind of a big deal in that sense. That means something's shifting. It's a change from yesterday to today. That's where I think I'm throwing out there.
Well, and even the ban on Brock Lesnar is lifted.
Yeah.
He's not just put back on the roster page. Like, apparently the ban itself, like, hey, we can use Brock if we can figure out a spot for him.
Yeah, it's against Gunther. I want to see that match.
I do want to see that match. You want to talk about two people beating the crap out of each other.
Oh yeah, like those guys.
And I'm in for it. I'm in.
It's completely different than anything else we talked about. Like that's gonna be a fight.
Which I'm for it. Like, hey, do you like Philly toothpicks? We're for them. Like, we're there. So coming out of the King of coming out of the King and Queen of the Ring, we go into Raw. I liked Raw. I thought there was some cool stuff. It started off with Gunther cutting a promo about being King of the Ring. It led right into Damian Priest interrupting him, which then again led into McIntyre getting into the whole situation.
This was weird.
There was a lot of interruption, and Gunther just kind of left, like you said. That was
he just walked out. Like, he was like, "Oh, cool. So, like, this is an AB conversation. I'll see my way out of it," kind of thing.
Yeah, like this is a you guy thing, not a me guy thing.
I was disappointed because I thought we were going to get Judgment Day versus Imperium, where you can get Balor and Priest back together versus Imperium and have a great match and just have fun, even though you're building to McIntyre Priest. Because what I want them to do is, starting today, I want them to start building SummerSlam, and I want them to use like Clash at the Castle and whatever else they have in between. Every show in between to build the SummerSlam, to make that feel big. Because now you're going to have some of these longer storylines coming up and going in that route. I think that'll be a lot of fun.
I agree. I think I'm happy. I think we're past the Mania lull, as we called it. The Mania.
King in the Ring is the shift. We know who those guys are.
We've done the draft. We've got the King and Queen of the Ring. Now we start building towards. Yeah, we start building towards SummerSlam. Which SummerSlam, whether anyone wants to say it or not, is the start of the real road to WrestleMania. You get that first of the four of the big four pay-per-views, and they start setting in stuff that starts planting the seeds for what will be happening at next year's Mania.
Yeah, I assume that you're going to see either or both The Rock and Roman Reigns return at SummerSlam. Not for a match, but
just to be there.
But they're going to be there. One of the two is going to be there, at least, if not both.
So coming out of that, we get more build for Ludwig Kaiser versus Sheamus.
Yeah, I don't know if this is in order. Sorry, I threw this together quickly on the things that we should talk about for Raw, but
No worries. And it's coming off of a Gunther promo, so it kind of works with everything.
yeah.
I like that they're actually doing something with Kaiser and making him not just be Gunther's lackey and the guy that loses when Gunther is on a 400-day winning streak. I felt like that was always a problem with Imperium, is Gunther was the most dominant Intercontinental Champion of all time, but the rest of his team is losing every week. Again, when you lose every week, I don't expect you to win when you get a match.
I could see this turning into a Clash at the Castle #1 contendership for the Intercontinental Championship.
Which is it's the one title that Sheamus has never held.
Yeah, one that he's never held. You have Kaiser stepping into Gunther's spot while Gunther is now going after the world title. It's like the perfect, all right, now you step your game up. Now you're still in Imperium. So I could see that being where this goes. I don't know. I'm not putting a stake in the ground, nor do I want either of these guys to dethrone Sammy. I have something else I want to talk about that later. But like these two, I see putting on a really good match. They're perfect for Clash at the Castle, and then it giving it some meaning too, other than just the blood feud of going towards the Intercontinental Championship at SummerSlam.
And speaking of who I'm thinking you were talking about Intercontinental title match, we get Ricochet versus Ilya versus Braun Breaker, which seems to be what they were building towards, was this 3-way. I get having the 3-way because it gives you a chance to have Braun go over on two kind of named guys. He's not just breaking through people. I would prefer having this match just be him and Ilya. I think it's a better match. I think it's a better style.
Him and Ricochet. I don't care.
I think I'm trying to figure out how they're doing this because it still seems like they're building Ricochet to be a heel. Or at least letting him just talk naturally, which Ricochet's natural way of speaking is kind of heelish.
I think that they're building the frustration because I feel like he keeps coming up short. And I do wish they would make this the 3-minute challenge championship.
The speed?
The speed, yeah, that's what it is. The speed championship means something. Like, have the belt on you. Like, he doesn't have to defend it, but have the belt.
But you're still the champion.
He's a champion.
Like, you're listed on the website as one of the champions.
And I don't know if it's because of the deal that it has to only be shown on X or whatever, but I don't know. This match, the 3-way it's building, I'm really not even all that excited about it. I would be really excited on a all-out Ricochet Ilya match. I'd be really excited about Braun versus either of the two. I don't love 3-way matches. It's no surprise. I just feel like they don't know what to do with these guys, so they're like, you guys dance with each other.
So I've also heard that Ricochet's contract is coming up, and that
I've heard that as well.
He's not renewing. He's not re-signing.
Oh, is he not? Is that definitely? I hadn't heard that part.
That is the rumor that I am hearing. In which case, though it is in bad faith to do this, is it really out a stretch of the imagination to think that a promoter is talking to a wrestler whose contract is coming to an end when he shouldn't be?
But he's not. He's talking to someone who he has signed that is now sending things out into the world of being like, if you're unhappy on how you're booked, I know a place where you can get booked really well. Because that's what Will Ospreay's doing right now. Because
yes.
he has history.
If his contract is coming up, and let's put it this way, if it ends at the right point, he won't have a 90-day no-compete clause because he's not being released.
Yeah, it's when the contract's up, he can go wherever he wants.
He can do whatever he wants. And if this happens in, let's say, end of June, okay, well, he loses the speed title, and the end of June is done. You have an entire month to build him and Will Ospreay for Wembley.
Yeah.
And it works. And he
It
owns the
does.
Ricochet name. So it's not he owns the trademark on that because he was Ricochet before he was ever in WWE. So you'll get Ricochet, Will Ospreay, number 32, but you'll get it in front of 80,000 people at Wembley.
I'm all for it too. Though I think that Ricochet just gets slotted into the mid card at AEW just the way he's kind of slotted in the mid card here.
I think after the Ospreay match, he does.
Sure.
I think they bring him in, they give him this big push towards, hey, we're going to get this match that we've been saying we were going to do. These are the two mirror images of each other. They can do everything that the other one can do. And then Ricochet does exactly what he's been doing.
Yep, I think that's.
And the only difference is he's in a smaller promotion. And I'm not saying that to be mean to AEW. They are the smaller promotion. And I hate to say this for Ricochet, but he runs out his contract there. And then don't be surprised if in 2 or 3 years he's in like TNA.
And I can see this being the build to getting Braun the Speed Championship, because who can end a match faster than him right now?
Facts.
I don't understand why he wasn't already there.
Same reason he wasn't in King of the Ring.
Because he's too good?
Because he's too good.
Like that's the only reason that makes sense. The only reason that he didn't win he wasn't in King of the Ring, because they didn't want him to lose to Gunther.
I think that's about it. Because anyone that you have him lose to at that point, it almost derails him a little bit.
But you got to give him feed him someone. Like, I feel like they went this the wrong way for me. Like, feed him someone not as you're trying to build as Ilya and Ricochet. Like, feed him McDonough. Like, you're feeding everybody McDonough. Like, just feed him McDonough. Like,
I think this is, again, I think this is the swan song for Ricochet. I think they give him this 3-way match. I think Braun beats Ricochet. And then they build up an actual, maybe even a feud with him and Ilya where, well, you didn't beat me. You beat him. And that's great. And they get a couple, him and Ilya together in just a couple of singles matches. They'll be bangers. They'll be good matches. And I'll be happy about it. And again, we like seeing fights. Real knockdown, drag out fights. And that's what would happen between Ilya and Braun, is it would turn into the big, strong monster guy that can carry everybody versus Ilya Dragunov, who is the guy who fights everyone and finds a way to win and like hits really hard. And he's a little bit more of the technique guy, where Braun is a little bit more of the power guy. And it'll end up working, I think. We'll see where they come out of this. The next spot that you have on here is the Karrion Kross Xavier Woods stuff. I love Karrion Kross. We know I love Karrion Kross.
I'm getting so over with him right now.
I really like what they're doing with him. And not just because I like Karrion Kross, but just because I like what they're doing. I like this devil's advocate thing that he's doing. I like that he is, again, I said this weeks ago when he did the digital, the behind the scenes promo, where it's like, well, does it really matter if I win or lose if I just am causing chaos by being here, by existing? He's leaving these indelible marks on these. You want to talk about long-term storytelling. We talk about Cody having a 2-year story up to winning the title. Karrion Kross has been making waves and causing people to be not acting like themselves since he walked back into the WWE this time. And they keep carrying it over with, these guys are still not acting like themselves. They're still doing the stuff that he drove them off the deep end to do. This is, you said it before we came on the air, he's 2 or 3 big wins away from being a threat.
Yeah, I want to, like, I can't, like, the more we talk about it, I can't decide who really is going to dethrone Sammy for the Intercontinental Championship. I want it to be Karrion Kross. I want it to be him, and I want him to have 2 or 3 big title defenses, to like legitimize him as a fighter too in this situation, and then you could have someone like Ilya, Braun, and Karrion at WrestleMania.
So I'm going to throw this one out there because it'll make you happy. I'm going to make you happy for once.
Doubt it.
Carrying across this whole thing is about ruining everyone's perceived perception of who these people are. Took away Shinsuke's honor. He's driven Drew McIntyre into the madhouse the way he is. I mean, true, it's CM Punk, but it started with Karrion Kross. He's split up Ray and Dominic, father and son. He wins the IC title. He ruins Sammy's identity of Sammy. We get El Generico back.
Yes, you won't do it. I'll take El Generico back.
I just told you, I'd make you happy. This is something that would make you happy.
That one. But like, completely different people. But whatever. Yes, I would love that. And I'm also intrigued on what's going to happen with Xavier Woods. Like, he's planting the seeds here now, and I think that they booked New Day versus AOP. I personally think that AOP is going to be the ones that beat Awesome Truth to take over the titles. I think they're positioning them perfectly for that at this moment in time. There's no one else really on the Raw roster that I think can do it today. And so I think that AOP is the one that are building towards it. I think you're going to see Kofi take the pin from AOP next week, and then just seeding that little bit of doubt in Xavier Woods, be like, see, told you. He's the one made you lose it for me. But I have one question for you. What flavor ice cream was Miz going to say that R-Truth really was?
Rocky Road.
It wasn't? I almost said Rocky Road. That's what I was going to say too, actually.
What? It is what it is, and it's full of nuts.
It's all mixed up. It's perfect.
Yeah, you got Why is there marshmallow in there?
Exactly. That was really funny, and I liked how New Day was like, he wasn't going to say strawberry. He definitely wasn't going to say strawberry. After that segment, AOP squashed the Creed brothers. I think that's just a clear indication that they need the tutelage of Gable, Sensei Gable, whatever you want to call him, at that moment in time. So I think that's kind of building that team up. And then you have kind of the Gable wanting to spank Otis. Like, that was, I felt uncomfortable.
I feel like this has run its course.
I'm with you. I think it should have ended at Raw. That was my end point. Now it's overstaying its welcome. This is the perfect time for Otis to just smack Sammy in the face. I don't know why
we're still doing
what
this.
else. What else are they going to do? Unless they're going to turn Otis heel, and I'm completely wrong about the Creed brothers, which is fine. I don't mind being wrong with that. But then, and give me Otis being just. I want him to stop being conflicted and just become an animal. Like, go that route. That's fine with me. I love to see the idea of Maxine Dupree going animal state too, because I think she had some matches where she was being a bit savage, and I paused for that match. I liked it. So just let's wrap this up. Let's either get Otis to be super face and start a clinic with Chad, or let's not and just stop being conflicted and stop looking like a sad
Exactly. I think it's run its course. I think it's done. Like, we're at a point where we need to take the next step. Mm-hmm. Speaking of taking the next step, let's step towards the main event. Liv retained the women's title against Becky in a steel cage. Dom screwed up again.
Well, Braun ran him over
because Braun ran everybody over. I still don't totally understand the Braun JD feud, but it's something. It's there.
They got to do something with Braun. Like, he's actually one of the people I can actually believe taking down Cody if they build him up.
Exactly. And then Liv kissed Dom at the end of it.
I don't know if you saw it, because they didn't have it on TV here in the US. they cut it off. And I actually was sitting there watching the end of it, being like, and then something happened. Oh, weird Survivor ripoff show coming next on USA. And then I found out the next day, oh, there's some smooches going on here.
Smoochy. Now
Tom
you
did
want
not
to know,
like it.
Actually, you want to know what? Now I know who the Wyndham Six are going after, because they're gonna go beat the crap out of Dom for that one.
Maybe
because of Bo.
Like I said before, I don't think Dom's turning. I do think that JD might be the one that might turn, and I could even see Finn Balor going this way. I just don't think. I don't think that you see Dom lead Mommy. I think he's too entrenched there, and I want them to figure out what they're doing with Priest as well, like just to throw them all out there, the Judgment Day, because like he either is going face or he's going heel. Pick one, please. Like this in between. Will he? Won't he?
Didn't we just have this conversation about Double or Nothing? Like you need to pick.
Like,
you need to figure out what you're doing.
And I'm really digging his promo. Like I like him being like the everyman, where he just feels like he's talking to you. I love that stuff that he did earlier in the show. But like either you're with the Judgment Day and you're going to show everybody why you were afraid of the Judgment Day for the last year, or you're not and break apart and move on. Like just pick a lane, man. Just pick a lane.
So pretty much that was Raw. That's been this week in wrestling. Realistically, there was a lot. Guys, if fans, if you are listening to us, watching us, whatever, as always, all of our stuff will be in the description below. If you agree with what we said, email us, tell us how you agree. If you don't agree with us, email us and tell us why you don't agree. Email us questions. Send us questions on Facebook. Follow us one way or another. If you are listening and you're enjoying what you're hearing, please hit that follow, hit that subscribe button. It is the number one way to help us get to more people. We are going to continue doing this until we either take over the world or the world takes us over. I'm pretty sure we're going to end up doing the first one, but one way or another, we will keep being here. This has been, I still call it a Lariat. Showtime, as always, it is a pleasure, mostly. But we will see everyone next week, and this has been a great day. Enjoy. Have a good one, guys.
Thank you all. We appreciate you.
Love you.